Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast, presents episode 783, E3 Infinite Hype, recorded live on June 10th, 2021. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast. I am your co-host, Duststorm.
I am your other co-host, Godzilla T.
And we have quite the panel of guests tonight for our pre-E3 podcast. We are expecting a lot from Halo Infinite during the Xbox Showcase, and we've got 6 guests with us tonight. We'll start off with a couple of folks over from the 405th. First up, we have Jonah, or Noble of Death.
Looks like my camera
Welcome
exploded on
to
the
podcast.
stream, but thanks for bringing me along.
Oh my gosh, yes it did.
He's auditioning for Pixel 2. Oh.
Hopefully that'll fix itself in just a minute.
Into the Matrix.
Thanks for having me on board. Happy to be here.
Now you're fixed. There we go.
Oh, better now.
Just after your intro, now you can actually be seen.
Exactly. My camera took a siesta.
There you go. We also have MightyMarkProps from the 405th as well. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, and hello.
Oh, nice 405th flag you got there in the back.
Yeah, it got mailed to me, and I was like, I need to figure out a way to hang this. Currently, it's taped to a floor lamp.
I got the same flag, too.
Hey,
At least
it
yours
works.
is hanging.
There you go.
My cat's pulled mine down.
Whatever works, yeah. Next up, we've got MHCosplay in the house. You've been quite the presence in the Podtacular Discord with all of your modeling stuff, so it's nice to finally see you on the podcast. Welcome.
First time, I'm glad to be here.
Glad to have you.
There's no
And
hazing,
then we've
is there?
got several returning. Not yet. We'll see what happens. Next up, we've got several returning guests that have been on the podcast previously. First up is CMNeir from Halo Tricks. Welcome back.
Hello, good to be back. It's been a while.
It
What's
has
this
been a
Halo
while.
we're talking about? What? It's been so long.
It's some song by some famous music artist. Some like Beyonce or something like that. I don't know.
Beyonce.
Next up, we have Haas,
What?
former Podtacular co-host.
What's up? It's nice to be back. It's been a long minute, but I'm excited to discuss all things God of War. I mean, Halo.
We can do that?
Someone's been playing some other games. I mean, just don't make it that public. Keep it on the hush hush. Keep it on the down low. We don't want to let anyone else know that we play anything else other than Halo.
Status set
All
to
we
private.
play. What are you talking about? There's no other games.
Yeah, every game is just a derivative of Halo. It's just copying off of
Haas
Halo.
plays offline a lot.
I'll
On my Sega
I'll
Genesis,
just conveniently slide this N7 helmet away then.
Everybody
I've
looking at
been playing a lot of that
Gallahorn in
too.
the background furiously.
And then finally, over from Forward Unto Dawn, we have Fuchs joining the podcast again. Welcome back.
I feel like I unfortunately have a lack of Halo stuff in the background. I've got like a Rocketeer helmet and that's it. So I'm not properly representing. But
Hey, Rocketeer's super unappreciated though, so
yeah, see, like Grunt
There you
Plushie
go.
is somewhere. I don't know where. But
Go find your friend,
Mine's right there.
Mr. Grunty.
Mr. Grunty.
Mine is on the shelf over there, and I still have 2 extras to give away at some point.
At some point.
At some point, yes.
We should see how much those go on eBay for.
I haven't looked, to be perfectly honest. I think last time I saw they're like $80. Are they a lot more than that now, or?
Well, now you got me question that.
Well, while he's gonna go.
Now
look.
I'm curious.
They're over $9.
Well, they were 10 to buy at PAX when they were being sold. So yes, they are over $9.
All right, first result, live feedback. Pre-owned Halo Grunt Plush 2011, $129.99. Buy it now price.
Wow.
oh my god.
And then everything after that is Skylanders.
Yeah, Skylanders was huge at the time.
Explains the price because it's the only thing up there.
I remember working at a GameStop and explaining to a parent what Skylanders was many times.
Too many parents, huh?
It's Spyro.
Yeah,
but
and I
depressed.
never played the game.
You can get a Halo Grunt Plush Dog Chew toy for just $18.30. So
I have one of those plushes inside of an alligator head right now, actually.
Perfect.
Oh, that's funny. Why is it in an alligator?
Best place
head?
for it.
Why is it not?
You invade Earth, you get what you deserve.
Especially if you go into
A swamp.
Florida.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
As someone who grew up in Florida, yeah, that sounds about right.
You ever watch Swamp People? You don't mess.
Mine lives in a plasma grenade.
Nice. Hasn't decided to go commando on you, has it?
Not yet.
Or so it's kamikaze.
I'd be
Come-
worried if a
yeah,
grunt
he-
was going commando in the battlefield. That's enough reason to
Well,
run.
you know,
It was the wrong word. I was trying to fish for it. I was
is
fishing
that,
for
is
it.
that
Now
their
we have,
exoskin or is that their pants?
You're about to find out.
So are the
Oh, this
brutes
is gonna be
throwing the
great.
grunts,
This
or
is
they
gonna be
throwing the
good.
pants with plasma grenade attached to it? Your dust. What's
Where does the suit end
Yes.
and the grunt begin?
Where's
Oh.
the brute
Whatever
grabbing
you say,
the
the
grunt?
answer is yes.
Oh, jeez. So to lay the groundwork for those tuning in to Twitch or downloading us, hopefully before the Xbox press brief on Sunday, we have a special episode. So we're not doing the normal stuff. We're not doing the playlist updates or any other news things that are out there. We're just strictly talking what are our thoughts on for E3, what we want to see, what we think we'll see. We've also got some feedback
Halo
from the community.
stuff.
I mean, I'd be okay if the whole presentation was Halo, but I don't think everyone
I
would
wish.
appreciate that. That'd be crazy if there was just a whole half of the press briefing that was just nothing but Halo.
Well, I mean,
Well,
what's
it does
nice
say
is
Xbox
do the
Bethesda,
presentations
so-
all E3 turns into is
Yeah.
like the showcasing of the games that got the press conference, and I feel like Infinite's going to be a really big focus.
They got this other.
no matter what Xbox is throwing on E3 this year.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be the one that everybody pays attention to.
I mean,
and
hey, tomorrow
criticizes.
was all IGN.
Well, they can't pull punches anymore.
There's going to be lots of coverage from all the different outlets. You're going to have IGN, Kotaku, Verge, all of them will be out there. Shout out to DJ, our other co-host that's temporarily on sabbatical in the chat. Yeah, we've got quite a few jerseys representing tonight.
Yes.
First time chat from viewer. That's an interesting little feature from Twitch. I've never seen that before.
That is interesting.
It just highlighted your message. It said first time chat.
Really?
Interesting. Learning new things here on Twitch. Anyways, so the Xbox press brief is coming up this Sunday, and there's going to be lots of Halo Infinite news to boot. At least we hope
Lots
so.
of Halo goodies.
Do you think
Yeah.
Craig's going to come back? Do you think there's going to be
I
an
hope
appearance
so.
by Craig?
That'd be cool if they kind of honor that.
I'd love
from
it like a
last time.
GameStop-esque, like 2010
Oh yeah,
commercial done with Craig.
Yeah,
Like just all humor.
Yeah?
Just completely dive into the meme of it.
That
No,
would be
you're
cool.
right.
I
Be
want a
amazing
Believe
too.
campaign with
Featuring
Craig.
Do
Craig.
you remember?
2007
I
Believe
really hope
campaign
there's a
with
Craig
Craig
Easter
as
egg
the main-
somewhere.
There's gotta be. Kind of like a Borderlands with Tannis jumping out of the water.
need someone to redo the ending of the Believe, kind of like Chris was saying. Instead of having just the brute holding Chief up, when Chief looks up, the camera pans down and it's Craig.
So someone's
Just
gonna go
add a
edit
little-
that in After Effects real quick.
Exactly. Just add
This is
in there
where
at
we
the
need-
I
end.
feel like we officially need to
We
state
need the Craig voice.
we're copywriting any of the video ideas that we're pushing out from today. All funds go to
It was our idea.
Podtacular.
The Halo Community Collective, something like that.
Exactly.
All I'm thinking about, Jonah, is that DLC for Reach with the Fuego.
Oh my
Sorry,
god.
my cat wants to get in on the conversation, I guess.
Mine's already behind
Which commercial
my
was that?
screens. She almost got in on camera, but she ducked right under it.
I mean, we need to know your cat's Halo opinions. Are they BR starts or AR starts?
I feel like,
Cluster.
I feel
love-
like Buka would be.
They
a
love the
VR
Master
star.
Chief, right? I'm assuming they love Master Chief.
Master Chief.
Master Chief, yeah. And there was was that just what went by? The cat? Or that
No.
was, that was something else.
That was a little
Okay.
tall to be a cat.
Okay. I just saw something go by just like orange. I
A
didn't-
flash of like, yeah.
I don't think I've seen too many cats that are safety orange.
Yeah, it's the right now. She's trying to figure out food.
Safety orange.
Hey, food's important.
Yes, it is. All right, so let's go ahead and start this off with a quick, just kind of shout around the horn of what people are most looking forward to from the press brief. What you want to see as far as Halo Infinite goes, what's your desire to see from Halo Infinite? And then as we kind of hear from people, we'll kind of either dive into a discussion into some of those, or we'll just kind of keep going and I'll fit in the submissions that we got from the community into some of the discussions as well. So let's go ahead and start off with GT, my best co-host over here. What is your expectation and desire to see Halo Infinite wise from the Xbox press brief?
Whatever they give us. No. I imagine they're probably going to talk a lot about multiplayer this time. I don't know that they're going to talk much about campaign. I would like to see them announce the multiplayer flighting, or at least some type of schedule.
That would be nice.
And I would really like to see a preview of it. We've seen screenshots. We know the game's playable. They've said as much. I would like to see some multiplayer gameplay.
I think that's reasonable. Multiplayer is definitely going to be an expectation, I think, for everybody. At this point, all we've seen is really campaign and a few little teases here and there of kind of what you're saying. Like, they've said on Twitter the game is playable. We've seen some of the screenshots from some of the updates. So yeah,
Mhm.
that makes sense. Quite a few responses that we got in our Twitter responses had multiplayer as one of the first couple of things that they wanted to see in the press brief. Keys mentioned it, Prestige mentioned it. Blue Amcat said that was the one thing that she wanted to see. So multiplayer is certainly up there.
It's pretty important. It's a sizable chunk of the Halo community. It's something that needs to be addressed appropriately. So we'll see. I know they won't show us everything, but they need. I want them to show us enough to give us the excitement to get ready for that testing and for the game launch.
And I think it's about time. I think this is the perfect time for them to do it. So
Yeah.
3 for 3. Let's see some of the good multiplayer stuff. Let's do it. Real quick, Confal, thank you for the 30 bits. Appreciate it.
Bits, more bits.
Yeah. Anyone else want to comment on the multiplayer side of things?
I think I'm definitely excited in terms of multiplayer to see what direction that 3-4 is taking their environmental storytelling that they mentioned would be in the campaign. Because we've seen with other maps, specifically Halo Reach, a lot of the maps were taken from campaign. Are we going to see something similar to that? Or are we going to get completely brand new maps like we saw a lot with Halo 3 and even with Halo 4 that tell their own story to them? So I'm really excited to see what direction they decide to weave in the narrative of what's going on in Infinite into their multiplayer design.
I think on the multiplayer side, what I really think they need to land is they need to show, first of all, the core Halo fan base, then the Xbox fan base, and then the general just gaming fan base, maybe people that have used to play Halo, whatever. They need to show all of us what is going to be the hook. Because I'm not saying Battle Royale here, even if it's big team. If you know me, I'm a big BR guy. So I'm not saying just BR. If it's going to be Big Team Battle 2.0, they need to show us why that is going to be the mode that is going to encourage everyone to flock to their game. I think that is going to be the key. I think campaign we could just get a teaser for and just kind of move on from, because we have a base premise of what the campaign is going to be. So multiplayer, I think from all the teasers, from the images, is definitely the focus. So they need to show us, I think, gameplay from multiplayer, a la like the MCC preview that they did at E3 a few years. Well, gosh, that was almost 7 years ago now.
Yeah.
It
was.
They need, if it's a short mini match that just shows the vehicles or the gunfight, just something that players will be like, that is something I want to pre-order now or pre-download via Game Pass, whatever it is. They need to find a mode that is going to drive hype that can't just be the standard 4v4, 8v8. It has to be Warzone on crack. And that's what I'm looking for, is what are you going to do to wow me and say, this is something I have to play minute zero?
I mean, just to think of that on par too, the trailer that just dropped for Battlefield is something that a lot of people on Twitter, a lot of people on Facebook, and any type of social media right now are referencing. They want to see something to that similar caliber for Halo Infinite. 343 doesn't have time anymore to pull their punches like they have been the last couple of years in development. It's more of a now or never time that they need to show off the triangle of Halo, of their gunplay, using grenades, taking advantage of shields, and the extra time that you have to combat your enemy in a game. It's a very unique combat cycle that Halo offers, and there's a lot of potential that they can make that shine in a trailer in the style that something like Battlefield just had. They can't afford to pull their punches anymore in multiplayer, and they need to really hook people in, as you said, Sauced.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're truly going, whatever avenue Halo goes, they are going to have stiff competition. If this Big Team Battle 2.0 is that 24 to 32 player count, you're kind of entering into the Battlefield area of gaming. If you're sticking on the 4v4, you got the Valorant, you got the COD, you got, the basic. If you go the Battle Royale route, you have name your competition. So whatever route they choose to go to, they definitely have to, I mean, there's no more rope-a-dope. They
have to commit.
It is full right hand swing over the top. You're clocking this guy in the jaw and knocking him on the ground. That is what I think Halo fans especially need right now.
And I think the last couple eras we've seen that too with the different games that 343 has put out. They experimented with Warzone, they experimented with an episodic storytelling with Spartan Ops, and it's a shame that some of these things have fallen off, but they can't let that happen with Halo Infinite. What they choose, this is the platform for Halo for the next 10 years. This is something that they keep telling us. They need to commit to something that's going to pull players in and commit to developing it, even if it does have a rough patch, similar to what Spartan Ops had in their Season 1, or similar to how Warzone was halfway through, where everything was overpowered, so you don't do balancing at that point.
Yeah. And you guys make a good point. It's going to be interesting to see how much they're really putting their best foot forward. I think you guys are right. I think they have to pretty much pull out all the stops they can to really say, hey, Halo is a game that remains to deserve its AAA status among all the other big games.
There is a perk to not being at the top of the mountain, and
there is.
I think that hopefully that approach is something that is resonating with 343, that they can watch who's at the top and learn from even their shortcomings and just truly offer something special. The gameplay that they did show, though it was campaign, there were elements in there that I think definitely will speak to the general gamer and not just the core Halo fan base or other shooter fan bases. I mean, it's things as simple as hit markers and things like that I think are really important. And if those translate well to multiplayer, I think there is a good possibility Halo could have something.
I think beyond that, or kind of tying in, is my great theory, unifying theory for how 343 has kind of fallen down with each of their games, is that they've taken a year to make a great one after release. And just, you gotta, like how it was where we didn't have Forge for a while, or they didn't have BTB, or it was on Forge maps, and originally all the Forge maps were terrible. Now they're much better. It's just one of those things where they've got a lot of different communities, but if you aren't serving them to some degree at the beginning, those people are going to do something else.
And those people aren't
especially if you don't have, and especially with custom content and being able to share that stuff. Like if we have to wait 2 years for a custom games browser, a custom content browser, like no one's going to use that stuff.
Well, I wouldn't say no one's going to use it because, I mean, look at Forge and how much it's exploded in Halo 5. So I think people will eventually use it, but it's just kind of what is that initial grab of... Because the hardcores are going to stay with Halo. It's those kind of casual ones that could get hooked into some of these features early on that you want to try to hook in and maintain at the beginning, where if you don't have some of these things at the beginning, you might lose out on.
Well, I think about it in terms of how Halo 3,
the longevity of
basically
Halo 3
all
is
the
a great
and all the
reference.
feature they introduced, like saved films, Forge, replays, theater, all that stuff. Now we take for granted because it's in most games. It's even in operating system stuff.
The biggest thing is we're running into a time where games in other platforms have developed a new formula, and they're running in this formula and succeeding in that formula because they've adapted to what is popular. And what we're looking at is Halo is stuck in 2009, let's say, with 16 players, FFA, things like that. Now we go forward into 2012 and Halo 4. Well, we had animation issues, but the core gameplay was still there. I actually find Halo 4 is a little janky, but has still a strong Halo base. Halo 5 turned full competitive, and it didn't give the non-sweaty players, not the people who don't want to go and Twitch it or just want to goof off in customs or social games. They didn't have much of a chance. I mean, launching without BTB was a big detrimental tack in that pegboard for Halo 5. So when you're coming out saying we got a BTB 2.0, that's great. And what? Because I'm glad BTB's there. I'm a big BTB player myself. But if you say we're going to do 16 on 16, I'm not going to care. I'm going to go play Battlefield. Because we have all played 16 on 16. If you're going to say this is a vehicle-based multiplayer game, I want to see it be, let's say 25 on 25 or 32 on 32. Bigger. If you got a vehicle base, you can't go 16 on 16 anymore. We've done that in 4. The maps were too large. We tried that in 3, in Halo 5, and the maps were all custom created and they looked kind of weird. And they were still too big. And I'm kind of with Jonah on the aspect of each multiplayer level needs to have this story, this aesthetic that belongs in the world, not
There
what
needs
it
to be a
was.
way to get around the map a lot better.
Yes, and we can't rely on man cannons. If you got sprint, I know it's going to be bigger to cover ground, but it's still the fact of sprint's there, but you have a duration. So we can't, there's a ground in which you can appeal to those competitive, but there's that ground you gotta find for the common guy. And that's the biggest thing that was a big miss in Halo 5. There was no everyone else. It was, okay, HCS, let's focus on that. No one's gonna do that all the time. And I don't like regular Warzone myself. Firefight's awesome, but that's just me.
Yeah, the microtransaction-y bit of Warzone is why I never touched it.
Yep.
Well, I got all these cards,
they had
I-
Warzone.
I'm a hoarder.
I think Warzone ended up working, but the other big thing they had was Breakout, which no one played.
If they did that again in Halo Infinite with multiple versions of a weapon, Super Fiesta in Halo 5 is the craziest, most fun game mode I've ever played in Halo.
Wacky.
It's like, I'll spawn, I'm like, oh crud, I got, Prophet's Bane, and I can sit there and you can rack up kills, and then next thing you know, there's a Spanker Prime coming across the field and hitting you upside the head.
Yeah, very true. I think there's a lot of BTB 2.0, kind of like how you were mentioning, Haas, kind of going around. I think a lot of people have different viewpoints on it, whether it's like either 16 on 16, like 32 player lobbies or 64 player lobbies. 343's big team has always been a little shaky, so they definitely, I think, need a facelift on their their BTB to really have something that fits well with them and kind of helps define their Halo BTB
I
experience.
felt like their big team battle, like, I am in no way a Halo 4 lover, but I think if I had to give anything in Halo 4 multiplayer an A+, it is their big team battle. But 5 is like, I won't even grade it. Like, I think it is so trash. And
Well, it's kind of weird that Halo 4's BTB was the most played mode, and then they kind of killed it in Halo 5.
Halo 5's big team battle was disrespectful to the legacy of Halo 5's big team, if you ask me. And so if they can reduce,
there wasn't a focus on it.
Exactly.
Like,
it was
during
disrespectful.
development, there just wasn't a focus.
Like, I
Well,
get that they wanted the Warzone to be the focus, and that was their cash grab, and I don't say that negatively. Every game has their cash grab thing now.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
they completely squatted on a legacy thing that so many people hooked onto since the LAN parties of CE and dorm rooms and playing on Blood Gulch for endless hours CTF. You know,
Controllers flying down hallways.
That was what really bothered me. I mean, credit to all the forgers out there, or cartographers, whatever they called them for that. They did the best that they could, but there are limitations to Forge as we know it still. And without dev maps and without any care, love into it, I mean, just from starting weapons was like, it took them forever to figure out BR, pistol, AR. And I have not touched Halo 5 in about 2 years.
What was so bad about Halo 5 BTB? I never really played BTB in Halo 5 or Halo 5 that much in general. What changed dramatically from 4 to 5 that
everything was
I think it was just
Forge.
kind of, yeah, that was a big thing. But I think the movement mechanics itself made things feel very different from a big team perspective.
Not only the movement mechanics, but rebalancing the sandbox around those movement mechanics was very rough during the first couple of years of Halo 5, especially with the drought of maps, as Haas was mentioning. I don't think there's a single map that I can individually remember and pull out of my brain about Halo 5. Everything
There's
just kind of felt the same.
No Exile, no Valhalla. Like, I mean,
I remember how shiny all the armor was.
And the main
I
problem
remember
is
that.
343.
That's what I remember about
had
Halo
this
5. Everything
problem.
was a little too shiny.
They've had this
it was
problem
just a little
since Halo
too-
4. The last map that I feel like I can truly remember was probably Haven from Halo 4. That is the only one that I can really pick out from 343 design. It was memorable. It was something that, that shows up in rotation. You're like, oh my god, we get to play SWAT on Haven. This is amazing. Because it had a unique rotation. It had unique ways to play against your enemies. You had a lot of pathways. You don't see that in a lot of 343 design maps right now, ever since Halo 5. And as Haas was mentioning too, they depended on a lot of that with the cartographers with very limited tools of what they could actually do with the competitive and casual sandbox with Forge. And that's what really made that late edition of BTB hurt even more for a lot of people, is that even the people who really did want to dedicate that time and make that experience for people couldn't do it.
Well, even in Arena, I think that's the other kind of boggling thing, where like 2 years out in competitive and they were still playing the same 3 maps. Like, no one's interested in watching the rig for
and
the
only,
umpteenth time.
And only 3 modes.
Yeah. Now, like, I've heard from like several of the Halo 4, Halo 5 late bloomers, so to speak, and they have more positive things to say about Halo 4 maps, but they have more to say about your advanced mobility and controls out of Halo 5. I know I like my clamber, because I'm a trick jumper still to this day, so I get more mad when I miss my jumps in Halo Reach than I do in Halo 5. And there's certain aspects to each of the games that had their benefits. I can pick one thing right now in Halo 4 that I hated the most, and it was Infinity Slayer. Because the saw was always in that first drop, and it was so broken. And it drove me up a wall, and I refused to play anything Infinity Slayer because of that, until I buddied up. But you buddy up, and then you play, and it's kind of like a...
It's all right. There's a little delay here, so it's going to be a little interesting with yours. But I think to that point, though,
dog water.
not to completely drag 343 down in the dirt with everything that we're saying. But I think given some of the rocky starts they had, there was still quite a few things that 343 did try to improve in the Halo 5 stuff. Like, look at all the stuff that we did end up getting for Forge and all the improvements that we got, even though it was late. And
what we got for Forge was incredible. I will never understate how I can't even come up with a good representation of what they did with Forge. Like, that was almost dev level tools that they were giving people. And if we get even a slight improvement on that going into Halo Infinite, a lot of people are going to be really happy about that, including myself. Like, you know, it might have been daunting for me to look at that going from Halo Reach Forge, because I didn't really touch Halo 4's Forge, but it was still, I can see there's such an artistic draw to that for people in the Halo community.
I think, like, my biggest beef with Forge isn't even the Forge. It's honestly the performance that the console could even output with these maps, because you would look in a corner and then all of a sudden your reticle is dragging. That's my issue with Forge maps. It's never the creativity, because I do think these forgers are really just trying to, like, create a masterpiece on an 8x11 sheet of paper, and it's not easy.
Realizing that you do need map optimization, otherwise you're gonna have like 90 objects occupying one viewpoint, and that's kind of hard to get around, because it's kind of user in, and I can also picture it's like engine inside. But if you want to give, you know, people to have like a billion objects on their map, but of course the issue is when you have, like, when I just said like a 90 right in front of you, it causes that slowdown.
It's just hard to make something look visually appealing and fun to play on, a fun environment to play within, because it looks cool, it plays cool. It's hard to do all those things with the current Forge set of tools that everybody has.
Which I guess brings about a really interesting point now when we're talking about engine and what different consoles can do, is what's going to be people's draw to get away from the original Xbox, their Xbox One X. Because if we're talking a 10-year roadmap, as much as people are beating the dead horse about it, those consoles aren't going to be able to do 10 years of something like this for long. We had games like Destiny 1 where on its last 2 DLCs, they completely cut support for Xbox 360. They forced you to get a DLC, but you had to have a newer console to actually play it. Are we going to see something like that? Or are they going to slowly phase out older consoles? What's going to be a player's out at that point?
I'd like to buy a new console.
The other thing you have to remember is that they're custom building this engine to be able to handle a wide range of hardware. I mean, that there is limitations to that, but the Slipspace engine was designed to do exactly what they're doing with it. Destiny's engine wasn't.
Yeah, Destiny was blam. Their old engines were blam.
Yeah, they're using old technology, and it just didn't work with the amount of graphical push that they put into Destiny. With Halo Infinite now on the older consoles, your penalty is going to be graphical fidelity. It's going to look worse. It's not going to run at the same frame rates. On an original Xbox, you're probably still going to be, or an Xbox One, you're probably going to be limited to 30 frames a second with Infinite. I would be surprised if even a Series X, or not a Series X, Xbox One X will be able to run it at 60 consistently. But you will be able to play the game. You just won't be able to see it in its full beauty.
I think you have to anticipate with the cloud push that Microsoft as a whole is pushing, and the tech industry as a whole is pushing right now. I think you have to expect that cloud is going to be very strongly baked into this new Slipspace engine. I keep calling it the Infinite engine.
Basically the Infinite engine.
I mean, maybe for casual gamers, a lot of the
hardcore is going to be the hardcore, but
well, it's not even hardcore. If you're a gamer that really cares about actually playing decently in multiplayer, you're never going to do cloud because internet infrastructure just can't support that real time.
I'm not saying that the game won't be played locally, but I think they're going to find a way to use cloud into our gaming experience.
They're going to source as much of the materials they can into cloud to reduce the load that older consoles may have, and even the newer consoles or PC is going to have.
So anyone who uses Comcast, you're screwed with your data.
Enjoy those data limits.
But yeah, if a lot of people are able to play through streaming with a lot of like access through around, that might get around the whole performance issue if they can actually do the xCloud streaming well enough, because that might just circumvent the whole problem. If you're running on an older system, congrats, your game is not the xCloud version.
If you got the bandwidth to handle it, sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's its own issue altogether, and I can't say that's going to be 343's fault if your internet's not.
Now all they have to do is actually bring that to the PC, because with an introduction of their new application, they have removed game streaming from PCs.
Like streaming from PC or streaming to PC?
Streaming from your console to a PC is not. You can't do that on the PC Xbox app. But you can do it on your mobile app. You can still do it on the Xbox Companion.
That makes no sense.
You can't do it on the Xbox app.
Well, Companion, I guess, makes... I mean, at least Companion still would work.
They did say that is... In today's Xbox briefing thing that they did say all that was very close to coming. So we'll see.
It should already be here, in my opinion.
Because the Xbox app works.
I do remember streaming my Xbox to my computer, and it was kind of meh. But that was 6 years ago.
Yeah, it's not.
Right.
It's not a great experience. I mean, it's not like sitting in front of your Xbox, but like I do it whenever if I'm doing a video where I need two players, I'll use it to control the second player. That way I don't have to drag another Xbox in here and hook it up.
I know some streamers that use that to stream with. Like they'll open up Companion. So instead of having a capture card, they just do a screen capture.
Uh-huh. That's been a way to do it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to stream Xbox without having a capture card. And it works fine for streaming.
Yeah.
I mean,
it does.
Who cares what input lag is when you're using it just to put it on a stream, because you're still watching it on your native screen.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think we've... Sorry, go ahead.
I'm really looking forward to the BTB stuff, like everybody's saying. With the Halo 4 BTB, I loved the Halo 4 BTB. The only thing I hated about it was everybody had a plasma pistol in their pocket. That was the only real problem with BTB.
It really crippled the vehicles.
Yeah, it made the vehicles almost useless.
Something about the vehicles too, because that is one of my.
And that's something that they need to.
That I want them to.
Yeah, that's something they need to balance.
I want them to push the vehicle support, because I feel like it's gotten completely overshadowed within their last two games. It's all about the gunplay and not about the vehicles. Because I think the last time I feel like vehicles felt completely viable would be Halo Reach. They felt like an actual option on the battlefield. They were very fun to drive, something like the Warthog, where you can almost drift while you're playing on big team battle maps and just throw the vehicle at people and not kill yourself doing so. It was an extremely unique aspect of the sandbox that I feel like has gotten really brushed under, and I want them to really show that off, or just show off using some of these cool vehicles they've been hinting at us.
Yeah, with Halo 4, if you were in a vehicle, you automatically became a support role, because you couldn't be up at the front line because of the freaking plasma pistols. So you basically were just laying fire to maybe get a kill.
Mm-hmm. Well, in a way, Halo Infinite is almost 343's Halo 3. They've had 2 games under their belt to really kind of figure out experiment with what their formula is going to be for Halo. And
I really don't want to compare Infinite to 3.
Well,
because it's not going to be 3.
But I'm thinking more from like a culmination of right.
That's
I'm
fair
just thinking
enough.
more of
But you know how the community is going to take that comparison all the wrong way.
Well, okay. So let me clarify. What I mean by that.
People are already making the comparison.
I understand.
Let me clarify then with what I mean by that. I mean taking the culmination of like like obviously in Halo CE there were certain glitches and bugs, and there were balancing issues there. Halo 2 had a lot of really cool things that it brought to the table, and matchmaking at launch was horrible. Yeah. But Halo 3 was kind of like this culmination of here's all the really cool things that Bungie learned over the first 2 games and really pulled something together.
They took what worked and refined it.
And that and when Halo 3 came out, it was like
time.
That's
basically a huge global phenomenon going on. Like,
but I think with Halo Infinite, they've obviously, like, Halo 4 was their first time to really say, okay, this is what we want Halo to be. Certain parts of it worked, certain parts of it didn't. Halo 5 was kind of a continuation of them trying to figure that stuff out. And now with 343 trying to take and maybe this isn't a culmination moment. Maybe this is a kind of take a few bits from 4 and 5 and scrap most of it and restart.
Well, that's what they all have always been saying since Infinite has really been talked about. It's a spiritual reboot. So maybe that's a good way to still look at it, is there's going to take everything that's worked, not only from Halo 4 and Halo 5, because just to single out the work that they did would be discrediting the rest of the trilogies that have existed beforehand. They need to take what has been favored and worked from every game and make Infinite a culmination of this series that they're doing a spiritual reboot for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is kind of why I got really excited for Infinite, was because the moment I saw Chief's new armor design, I that's like, it's got me so pumped for, because I'm not gonna lie, I was never a fan of the Halo 4 and 5 art style change, and then the explanation of nanomachines and a cryo tube with no other explanation, and I was never very happy with that. And I don't know if it's just like a dumb chip on my shoulder to go about it, but when I saw it come back, I was just like, well, I guess you don't need an explanation for why it changed, but I'm happy with this change on the... it's just personal preference to go for that, because it felt a little jarring when the art style kind of changed a lot on my end. So
I just want someone to crash the game on stage. That's really what I want. I want to see someone screw up and push the engine too far and just crash it during a session.
You hit what happened on pixels you're not supposed to go touch.
No touchy.
No touchy.
Because I'm so impressed about what they talk about, like the Slipspace engine can do. Just to draw back on why I'm thinking that is, I do want to see what it can do, but I also want to kind of see where it has limits too. Some people are going to want to see that and see that, hey, maybe if it can't do this is what they're going to improve on over these next 10 years.
I just hope I don't notice that there's a limit that it can go to, like anything that takes me out of the experience.
Here, we're just gonna
like when I'm playing
we're gonna pull a Halo 2, we're gonna show it off at E3 and then completely rebuild it the same year.
I think they've said in their update though that they haven't really scrapped a lot of stuff. Like they've kept a lot of the things that have been going through development for campaign when Joe was brought on. So the whole thing of they're redoing Halo, that's not what happened.
No.
So I wonder who wrote
I'm going
that
to take this. I'm going to take this moment. I think we've kind of talked the multiplayer and BTB stuff pretty thoroughly. We're going to try something new and going to try to play a couple of audio clips that were sent in to us by a few folks. So let's see if this works.
And this is where dust breaks the stream.
Godzilla just crashes.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Here we go. Here's our first one. This is from another fellow podcaster, pretty close home to Fuchs over here. So let's see what Danny has to say.
The thing I want to see the most is I want to see people happy. I want to see people enjoying a Halo presentation and just being hyped. We deserve a hype-filled E3 and to go out of it just buzzing. I don't care how we get to that point. I just want us to get there. And to be honest, I think we will.
That was Danny.
That can't be Danny.
Believe it or not.
I don't believe you. Oh, he cleans up his language for other podcasts. I see how it is.
Nah, somebody just gave him sedatives. They They had to dial him back.
I think he mentioned something that we're all pretty much hoping for. We want 343. Yeah,
want to bring the community back together. It feels very splintered for a while now. I definitely agree with that sentiment, though, that it's like it would just be nice to see a lot of us happy about where our favorite game is going. I feel like we've had amazing community nights amongst the 405th since MCC has become so popular. We're planning a summer competitive games now after we did a bunch of verses all across the globe with the different regions that we have. So it's to be able to think of being able to do that in Infinite is really exciting, and just to be able to pull more people into our community and to join more as a whole as the entire community is really exciting to think about.
And then Outpost, I feel kind of helped out on that, as well as like trying to get the kind of a bit of like the Halo vibe and hype back on that, because I don't know about your all's weekends for when that happened, but that was definitely the kind of thing.
Well, one of our buddies almost died, so that was fun.
Oops.
Barring that, I still very much enjoyed that weekend for the whole thing, because
that's a regular thing that happens in the Midwest. We actually became known as the party regiment by 343 after they saw us dancing on tables at Hofer House.
I think I remember those stories because I think they went from to you to us, and we're just okay.
Yeah. Somebody fell asleep on a table. People were getting spanked. It was a good time.
Okay. Yeah.
Spanking good times.
All right. So that was our first one from Danny. Our next one here is from the Writing Spartan, who used to write a couple articles for us here on Podtacular, and he's off doing his Halo Spotlight thing, if you haven't had a chance to go check that out. So let's see. He had something that came out today, but he's been posting stuff over there for a little while now. But there's been he's had quite a few things popping up lately. So let's see what Writing Spartan has to say.
Hello there, Podtacular team. My name's the Writing Spartan, and I'm just giving my thoughts on your recent tweet asking what we're looking forward to seeing at the Xbox Showcase at E3. I really can't wait to see multiplayer. I'm really hoping they show off the new equipment and the edited the updated Spartan abilities. I'm really looking forward to seeing how Sprint plays into Halo Infinite now that it's been kind of changed a little bit. I also hope that we hear some information based on the playlists and the ranking system to do with multiplayer. That's stuff that I'm really interested in. And also a new campaign trailer would be nice, just to see the new updates that they've made to the graphics and the gameplay and whatnot in terms of the campaign. And really just getting to see how the equipment plays more into the game. Getting to see the equipment in multiplayer would be totally awesome. That's really what I'm looking forward to with the Halo Infinite showcase. I'm really hoping that's what gets shown. And anything extra would be absolutely great. A release date would be fantastic. Thanks for taking the time to listen to my thoughts and my hopes. And I hope the show goes well for everyone involved.
Thanks, Jordan, for your submission. He touched on something else I think a lot of other folks are looking for as well. Some little bit of campaign. We obviously got some from last year. Everyone's clamoring to see what it looks like actually in action now. I know, GT, earlier you said that you didn't really see a lot of campaign, but maybe just kind of a refresh to what we saw last year.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see anything. And I kind of don't want to, after the way the community reacted last time.
I wouldn't be opposed to something like what they did for their actual quick advertisements, like the really short teasers they did, just like a super cut. Mm-hmm. That wouldn't be bad.
Or something like the exact cut of last year's broadcast.
But just in
E3,
how about for the campaign that the
broadcast
trailers
side
actually
by side, right?
align with what's going on in the story? Unlike what was it called? Hunt the Truth.
Where are the Prometheans?
An amazing little audio drama.
Hunt the Prometheans.
And it had
I know,
nothing to do.
It was so
with the
well
campaign.
produced. We went nuts with it. After each episode came out, we went crazy over it.
Yeah, Hunt the Truth, great, but I was so disappointed when it had did not
Yeah.
lead towards anything on the
Yeah.
campaign, or even the trailers for
Well-
5. So that's why I'm like,
Well, honestly,
anything
the
we get, I
trailers
hope it
for
lines
Halo
up with
5
the
didn't
game.
even have anything to do with the game. So
Yeah,
that
it-
was
I've ever seen.
It was weird.
people wanted that last year redesign of the campaign. Hey, look what you get, Halo 5.
I think that was Halo 2 as well. With that whole
Well,
level.
no, Halo 2 just went on an extreme weight loss.
Halo 2 was literally a nightmare fuel levels of Jimmy Neutron development.
Yeah, they weren't doing liposuction. They were they had the axe out, just cutting and lobbing.
November
things
9th,
off.
guys. It needs
Oh,
the
man.
ship.
Anyway, I mean, if they do show some campaign stuff, that would be great. But I honestly, I don't think they will. I think it's probably going to be more focused on multiplayer.
Which I think is where their guns need to be for it. I would 100% agree on that.
At this point, with with the promise of the flighting, I think that's what they need to talk to us about.
What I want to see from multiplayer as well is player customization. How it works and how do you earn it too?
Yeah.
Is one of those
We
things
need
that I try to figure
clarification
out.
on the armor coatings desperately. We need
Yeah.
to see it in action.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, a lot of what kept me playing Halo was unlocking armor. That I'm a lot of Reach was just doing that, and then I finally got MHCosplay, and I was just like, oh, I finally got my look. Okay, I can enjoy the game now.
There's Nick where he
Yeah,
just
with
gets
Reach, I
default.
unlocked the armor I wanted, and then I unlocked the armor I wanted. And then now
Right.
what do I do with all these rec points or Spartan points?
Like, can
Whatever
I
the
buy
hell
a
they call them.
Phaeton?
Or credits.
So
I think.
I pretty much wound up buying everything.
Yep, because
Yep.
now you gotta get
How
the
do I get
collection.
everything?
100%.
Well, no, the danger
it's
though
not
is
that I
then
use
you,
any of it. It's just
Oh,
what do I do with it? They're just going to sit there, so I
Yeah.
might as well
Exactly.
spend it.
yeah.
I got my George armor, and okay, I'm
You got
done.
the wolf skin for the pistol before BioWolf did. Yep.
In Halo 5, yeah.
Oh,
But I was talking in Reach.
yeah, that too.
But I got the only two things that I went for in Reach was the George armor and the inclement weather are the only two things that I wanted.
I wanted the visors. I was down to get anything else, but I just wanted to change visors.
And I wanted the Mark
Yeah.
6 Mjolnir,
There was just a few pieces.
and then the
That's just it. That's what I hope the new customization is I hope that I'm able to pick what I want and get it. And then whatever else I get, it doesn't matter.
mm-hmm.
I want my look,
But then,
and then
the ability to
I'm done.
experiment if you want to. But otherwise, you can be done hunting for what
Yep.
you wanted. And
All right.
be happy
and
with
have
that.
a way to sort
I
your
don't
armor.
want the slot machine.
So what about the Halo 3 method of unlocking armor where it was tied to
I
an
would like to
achievement
see-
in the game?
That's a good way to do it.
I'm not
but
opposed
the-
to
'Cause I like that
coming back.
personally.
I thought that was
Yeah.
awesome, especially with the VidMaster challenges. That
Oh,
was some of the
yeah.
craziest things that you had to do, and you just
Like-
felt so
So Halo 5
satisfied after it.
I think
Halo
you'll
5
definitely
had
see that
some of
return.
that.
I'd be so
Most of
happy
it was
to see that come back.
Yeah, Halo 5 had some of that. It wasn't
Did it?
nearly as prevalent,
Helioscrill.
but it did have some of that. So like the early season rankings.
I don't even want to talk about Helioscroll. I completed all of that, and it still
Oh,
never
no.
popped for me. I did all the games
Same.
on Legendary solo, and it just didn't happen. I'm just like, well,
That's
that's cool.
disappointing.
Yeah,
Well, then 6 months after the game launched, they gave it to everybody anyway.
exactly.
Unlocking with that's fine, because if I want that armor, I go do those achievements
Yep.
to unlock the armor. That falls right into where what I was
Target
saying.
loot.
I see the armor I want. And it tells me
I think
what I have
there's-
to do to get it.
If having a good mix in there of
And yeah, I
accomplishment
completely
based
agree.
unlocks, and then having kind of like the store where you can spend credits or something to unlock certain other things, I think having both of those in there is a healthy balance, because then you have something that you can show off of, hey, I actually went out and did this thing, versus, hey, I grinded games to get enough credits to buy this really cool piece of armor, or I saved up for this one specifically. So I think there's merit to both.
Yeah.
I think Call of Duty is a good kind of showing of what we're going to expect. There's going to be armors to unlock by completing the campaign, doing challenges, but then 99.9% of them are going to be purchased or picked up through battle passes and stuff like that, which that's fine by me. Just, let there be some kind of hook for players to have something to chase within other portions of your game within the $60 or whatever purchase.
It's all about
amount.
what you said with the cash grab. It's just how far they want to reach with it is what's really going to affect that for people. If it reaches too far, people like Godzilla are not going to be able to have that target loot experience, and it's going to be discouraging. But I agree with him too. I love the target loot experience of different games. It's why I love Destiny, is you can kind of set out and go hunt something down. In Halo 3, if I wanted to get different elite armor, like the triple kill and free for all with energy sword, that was something you could chase. And if people don't have that is something specific that loses your audience at that point.
Yeah, except for in Destiny, you can have 700 random rolls and never get what you want.
You're chasing a roll versus like getting a certain.
See,
exotic.
I've never been someone who cares about the rolls. I just want to look cool with a cool weapon.
Hayden with the raid of 7. Thank you, Hayden.
I feel
I
that.
don't get
You haven't
too
played your
hardcore
clip yet,
with
so
it.
you're about 20 minutes away from us playing your clip.
Just in time.
No, we're not quite there yet. So we can be, but there's one thing I wanted to kind of bring up first, though. And some of the responses we got on Twitter, people did want to see an update to campaign, basically as a response from last year of just seeing what was improved from last year. What
like a side by side.
No more screenshots.
Yeah, no one said side by side. They
more
just pretty
screenshots
much
or mega blocks.
a campaign gameplay, like a short piece of gameplay, not even like the long thing that we had.
Video or rewrite it.
I think people just want to see that from what was shown off last year, what the improvement looks like, not in screenshot, but in action form. So maybe some kind of short little tease. It needs to be some kind of live capture
That's
from
why I think
the campaign.
The 90-second to 2-minute trailer would be really good for that.
Yep.
Exactly. You get to see everything fast paced. People were going back and slowing stuff down, that's how people caught a lot of cool little bits, like the energy sword slight redesign, the BR that Chief was holding when he was using the
grunt launch,
the hook.
The 07 Halo 3 trailer, where they, is like, you all are vermin or whatever the prophet said. And then it kind of like showed gameplay elements. It showed sandbox elements. I think that is kind of what we
an
need.
amalgam.
And if I remember right, usually E3s leading up to a Halo release is like the first E3 showing is usually kind of like the campaign tease of a new game, and then the E3 before release has been, here's a lot of the multiplayer stuff, and here's kind of an additional campaign tease or update on where campaign is.
You gotta think though too. We've never had a Halo release during a pandemic, so
this
the
is
dynamic
true,
had to
which
change
it kind of did
for this
so
whole
we had engine
title
first,
thing.
The show.
Then campaign.
I'm very interested to see what they achieve with working from home and doing a trailer like this, and doing whatever gameplay they throw out. This is such a unique experience that the entire gaming industry as a whole is now going to be facing of how do we bring something back that used to be a mainstay event for people, but doing it in an environment where 90% of us aren't in the same room and are across the country from each other right now.
Yeah, lots of change there. Pandemics has thrown a lot of wrenches into the plans of 343.
It's a roller coaster and we all get to ride it.
And none of us know when it stops.
I want to get up Mr. Bones.
And half of us have vertigo.
Oh, so we asked GT what his kind of initial thoughts were. I think Haas, you've kind of talked a lot of the BTB stuff, which
some are walking off. Why do I got whiplash?
Chris, you haven't been talking too much yet. What's your desires to see out of the E3?
I have no idea where to begin. It's been fun listening though, and chiming in when I can. I don't know. I grew up with Halo 2 and 3, and so that's kind of where my mind is. Halo 5 was not a game I really enjoyed for very long. I did not like the art style, as you guys mentioned earlier, and I don't remember any maps at all from it, multiplayer-wise. And I don't even think I played much BTB. So for multiplayer, I just want it to be fun. I just want to enjoy it and want to come back and play it multiple times. I want a wide variety of maps to play, and I want a stream of maps to keep coming. I wonder what maps, if any, they'll bring back. They always seem to bring back a classic map from a previous Halo game, and
Just one?
newer Halo
Just
games. So
one.
I'm just
Everyone
wondering what
gets
that would
one.
be even.
Bring on Waterworks and Terminal, and I am happy.
There you go.
Terminal would be good.
Just
Yeah,
say
Terminal
drop
the-
is
a
fun.
50
That's a
bomb
good
with a
map.
sniper on each map, and I'll be happy.
The two maps that I usually get brought up a lot is what, Lockout and Blood Gulch.
No more Pitfall, please. I'm very tired of Pitfall.
Oh, come on. The pits,
Yeah.
the awesomeness.
Someone's got to say
I'd like
it,
to see
though.
Colossus redone. Colossus was a fun map on Halo 2. I did enjoy that
We
one.
played Pit on Halo
I'm
Reach
kinda with
MLG.
the-
We had another Pit on 4. We had a Forged Pit on 5. Let's just let Pit stay in the pit for a little bit.
Jump
How
into the
about
pit.
a
I'd
remake
love
of
some 2 and 3
Foundation?
Don't
maps
forget
to return,
don't-
for
Ooh.
sure.
Yeah. Don't
Yeah,
forget Beaver
yeah.
Creek.
Oh,
yeah,
my
we
God, no more
got
Beaver
that.
Creek.
We got
Please,
that
no,
right.
no,
Give me
back
a
in
remake
Reach,
of
dude.
Burial Mounds. Let's
There's
go.
so
let's
many
go
good
weird
maps that would
territory.
be
Ooh,
good
Burial
maps.
Mounds. That'd be a good one.
I
Let's
really
go
feel
weird
like
territory.
Halo has such a great legacy of maps, and if this is going to be truly like a celebration and
There
a
needs to be
reboot
some
of Halo,
remakes.
pick a map or two. Pick a map or two from
Bring 'em all
each
back.
game. And, like, bring back
Derelict.
Derelict or whatever. Yeah, and then bring back Waterworks. Bring back Halo 3. I don't know. Pick a map, not Pit. And then
Ghost Town.
Valhalla.
Oh, probably Valhalla.
Halo 4. Halo
I love Ghost
Ghost Town. I
Town.
mean, Ghost Town could work. Halo 4. Bring back Exile.
Nah,
Halo
high ground.
5. Sorry.
Bring back
Colosseum.
Colosseum.
Most people like Coliseum, so
Someone
that's
said
not bad.
Plaza in the chat earlier.
I mean,
Halo,
Plaza's not a bad
Boarding
one.
action.
Boarding
Bring back boarding
action?
action.
Nah, bring back
Ooh.
Halo 2
Oh.
Burial Mounds. Bring back the
Bring back
plasma
Gyrophobia.
rifle in the sky.
Halo 2 and Halo
PC
3 had
gyrophobia.
such good maps.
Halo.
Oh,
That's a classic. That's a classic.
Zanzibar. Zanzibar was like my favorite one.
Yeah, they have so much to pick and pull from, but I also want to see some new ideas that
Yeah.
aren't being forged.
I wonder if they'd change theater at all or add on to theater, because theater is amazing too. Like,
Imagine an
Well,
in-game montage creator in theater.
Well, first
What,
thing
some
they
like
need to do
Overwatch?
is
Camera and have
fix
it move
theater.
for
Yeah,
you,
they
like,
need to really
points.
fix the theater from.
kind of like what you can do in Halo 5
Well,
and
and like
4.
for. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that was just lacking theater wise from Halo 5. It was. It was not the theater that a lot of people are used to.
Campaign theater.
Yeah,
Campaign
right.
theater.
A lot of people.
Please.
There's just
I mean, if you're going
It
to have
should.
theater, it needs
It
to
really
work in all
should.
modes.
A better
100% agree on
rewind.
that.
Yeah,
as well.
it really should. There's so many like little things that have been added that are like great little concepts. Just pulling it all together to make something that works really well. And hopefully with Infinite they can pull that off. And I mean, obviously that's a huge ask, so they might not have it right out the gate. Although, probably be good if they had it out the gate to kind of solidify that.
Well, they say it's a 10-year game. Maybe we'll get Forge in year 6 and then theater in year 8. I mean, who knows?
So
I just need to ask, do y'all really buy into
Yeah.
the 10-year game?
Yeah,
thing?
I do.
don't, personally. I feel like that's a little too ambitious, especially with how the market fluctuates for games.
Look at what
Market,
Fortnite's
tech,
doing though. Look
like,
at their.
I have so many concerns.
But they're such a unique scenario because they have so many people in their pockets that want to put their IP in there.
And Fortnite's only
Fortnite
on
is-
what, year 2 or 3?
I mean-
exactly. They're this huge marketing ploy compared to Halo being the Halo is Halo. That is their focus. Fortnite has no focus, and that is its appeal.
I think the ambition can be there to be 10 years, but like the reality of 10 years.
Well, so I
is-
think I think for the most part,
I just Destiny was supposed to be 10 years.
Exactly.
I think for
3 more years to
Infinite
go.
though,
But
we're gonna
we've
have
already got
it
a second
probably
title.
be like what would be the next game after Infinite is going to be a campaign DLC. It's going to be improvements to weapons or armors and that kind of stuff. So there might be like little pockets of seasons that'll add on top of the game, but there'll still be some of those unique experiences. So the Halo Infinite campaign might have a subtitle on it. So that's like the first campaign. And then they're like maybe 3 years out, they have another campaign to add on. And it's just the engine.
Is this campaign going to
This
take
one does,
place after
yes.
Halo 5?
Yes,
Like,
it's
has that been? It does.
it is.
Even though
It's
a
still
spiritual
canonically
reboot,
in line
it's
with the
just
game.
going to be a
It's
continuation.
I think it's like 2 or
So
3
we still have to
years
handle
after Halo
Cortana and all
5,
that.
right?
Spiritual
Sort of
reboot, not a reboot.
Now, the thing I
Prestige
do with the
25,
campaign
60.
is that it
Gifted
doesn't require you
subs.
to
Thank
read
you,
any
Prestige.
books beforehand.
What's up, Prestige?
I'll have to say Pins beat you earlier with 20.
Pins beat you.
Sorry, I wanted to get that. Wanted to catch that.
Oh, good. But
Anyway.
because I just remember like some of the issues like the campaign was it felt like you needed to read something beforehand to understand what's going on. The very first mission.
Yeah, that was
Like I'm all fine with the extended universe being added in, but it is kind
Don't
of like
shoehorn it.
jarring when you're just like, wait, what? Wait, who are these people? Why are they in?
I just want my ship being attacked and you being woken up and say, go shoot these things that are coming onto your
what's
ship.
shown in the
Hey,
trailer to
all
actually.
I'm
I'm all
saying
happy
is-
Blue Team made it in Halo 5, but
If they're adding
some people
in,
had no idea who they were.
If they're adding in weapons over this 10-year period, you better add in the
Oh
cursed
my
pistol and sniper.
gosh!
I mean, we got Tanaka out of the deal, right?
I better have a floppy sniper that I could use in that 10-year time frame, or none of it's worth it.
I haven't got
D20
to the
hand
point where I've
grenade.
got a
I've
chance to
seen the
use it
cursed
yet.
pistol
but
where
anyway.
it's backwards.
Well, with the 10-year plan, the
Oh man,
Halo Infinite at year 1 and at year 10 are going to be two different games. It's going to evolve over that 10 years.
I'm expecting an
I-
evolution. Like,
I
and a
don't.
games of service.
I don't think. I don't doubt that it's going to be 10 years.
Can you just like say like, hey, 5 years, and then if it goes beyond the 5 years, like, I mean, we're in year 6 of Halo 5 right now, so
yeah.
Well, I imagine it'll do better than Anthem did on the 10-year plan.
what's that game?
But in order for
You're about to wake up some angry ghosts, my friend.
Oh no!
the thing with Halo 5 is they have to, or not Halo 5, Halo Infinite, is they need to keep bringing content in. As long as they do that on a regular basis and in a good way, I don't see a problem with them making it 10 years.
I don't have a problem with it, but I just feel like,
There needs to be a
yo,
realistic
can we
expectation.
step up to the plate first before we're saying
Yeah.
this is a 10-year
Yeah.
A lot
game?
can happen in 10 years too.
Like you got to find the motivation to keep people coming year after year after year to play.
Because
Keep playing.
even to dial back on what you're saying, Haas, Spartan Ops was supposed to have way more than 2 seasons.
No, it
They
was
were like,
one.
this is
It was
gonna
just
be
one season.
Every couple
still just
months
one
was
season.
going to be a season,
Yeah.
and it's just one. It was just 2 parts. They need to step up first, as you're saying, before they start committing to a 10-year plan, 20-year plan, whatever plan they want to do. We need to see that it's viable to do that first.
10 years
Like
is
after
so
1
hard
year.
for me to fathom in just like my own life.
We had 5 Halo games in 10 years.
I'm gonna be in my
From
40s in 10 years.
Right there with you.
I don't.
Yeah. Haas, let's not go there.
I'm just saying, like, that's a lot to like really like take in and consider for a video game. Like, I'm not thinking
You
really
can have a
that far out in
10-year-old
my
by that
life.
point.
I will be walking my daughter across the graduation. So
So
like,
take a look at the software industry and where
Right.
it's gone to like the whole subscription model and like okay, it's now this one product that's going to just have updates over time. And I mean the
Right.
games industry kind of lags behind that a little bit, but that's just kind of where I see a lot of the games industry going is kind of that same model.
Well, I think like Windows 10 was supposed to be like this long-lasting thing that's going to evolve, and they're already talking about the next Windows coming out. I think that gets announced later this month. So like, I just feel like 10 years is a little bit of an overpromise, and I think people are hooking on to that a little bit more than they should be. Like I'm tired of hearing they'll add it later.
People who hook onto that should be concerned that that's a standpoint in my mind right now, because you shouldn't be giving someone the leeway of, oh, add in as little as possible because year one and onward you're going to add more and more. Like, no, you should add a substantial amount, and then the little things you add over the years, it's all about the quality of life and giving back to the player, so the player give back to your community and the game that you've created.
Like, I'm sure a lot of TV shows plan to have 10 seasons that don't even make it after season 1.
The Flash.
Yeah.
When will it end?
How much do you think Halo Infinite
reminded
will
of
release
something
with?
is-
Do you think it will release with more or less than Halo 5 did? Because Halo 5 didn't
I think they're
release
going to
with
have a
BTB.
ton of
Like,
content.
do you think
day
they're
one.
actually going to?
They'd make
They need to have a ton of
That'd
content
be
a very
day one.
fatal
If they
misstep.
don't, they're done.
I'm anticipating to be overwhelmed on day 1 with things that are in that game. Because I think anything less than that right now, especially after 5,
It is a fatal step
Yeah.
if they choose to make that same decision that they made with 5, because they lost a huge amount of player base within the first 2 months of Halo
Yeah, there was
5
no
because of
Forge.
that.
There was only 3
So do you
4
guys?
game modes, I guess, technically. 3 if you count Breakout being a derivative of Slayer. Yeah, there's just not a lot of content there for people to really latch onto. And looking at the prodigy of all the games that came before it with all the maps and all the game modes, it's like, why did you thin this out so much? Yeah, if they do it again, it's going to be rough.
The
Do
thing
you
that
guys
gets me
think they're
for
gonna
that
do
is that
a
they
roadmap?
They also just killed. They came up with. I think Halo 4 came up with like Regicide was a better version of VIP. I know lots of people didn't like Flood, but like Ricochet was great. I
love
loved
Ricochet.
Ricochet.
And then they didn't have their cool new modes that they made in the previous one in the next game.
I'm going to say something controversial. Screw Griffball, give me Ricochet.
Dude, I 100% agree with that, though.
B-Train would disagree with you. He said
that
he
is our
said
go-to
he
game
wants
type
Griffball.
any game night that we have.
I legit don't remember what Ricochet is. Though.
Honestly, at this point, too, just on that terms of Griffball, I think that wouldn't be a bad one to just retire, just given the state of where Red versus Blue
football
was
with-
this last season they
weapons.
did.
Griffball's going to stay.
Yeah.
There's no way
Yes.
Griffball's not going to be in there.
I
mean, to
know
your
that.
point,
I'm
though, there's other game modes
throwing
that
punches.
343's come up with that just not existent.
Where were they in 5?
Extraction was horrendous, and I hope I never see it come back ever.
It had its moments. It wasn't a very good one for most cases.
No, it never had a moment. It had too many moments.
It's
A game that would be almost over would last forever because you just rotate the spawn.
I would love to
Yeah.
see single bomb like the. I really feel like Halo 2 nailed the bomb game type
Oh, I
so
love
much
bomb.
better than any. Like you had neutral bomb, you had single bomb, and it was the maps all like really supported those modes. Even single flag, like I always felt like those were kind of missing.
What's the map in Halo 2 called? Like Quarantine or something like that? It was like a big
Containment.
map.
Containment.
During one of the regiment battles,
wanna
we were
talk about
on that
containment,
map
first
for
of
like
all.
30 minutes for one bomb.
Yeah, I remember that one. I brought the bomb over there. It glitched out, didn't stick to the zone. You guys killed me, and the
Oh,
game went for another
no.
60 minutes because we didn't know what we set the timer to.
Yeah, that was a very long match. I was like stuck in overtime
I was in a bad
forever.
mood
It
for
was
the
like,
rest of the
what
night
is
after
I think
that.
that's one thing that really is kind of a detriment to how games are kind of focused on development, because they're all focused on, okay, what's competitive, what can be a quick game, and like if you look at Halo 1 and Halo 2, like Halo 1 and Halo 2, like they weren't designed specifically for competitive play. They weren't designed for like, I mean, there were certain concepts of
Halo 1 was a last second addition made by the Oni team.
I think a good thing that. So you're saying like people want kind of quicker matches
No,
and stuff like that.
No. I'm not
I
saying
don't think it's
no. I'm not saying
necessarily
people want
that. I
quicker
think
maps or matches. I'm saying you shouldn't necessarily design a map specifically, like design your entire set of maps specifically for one audience, like they did with Halo 5. Like you
Oh,
need to
yeah,
have
yeah,
that
sure.
wide
I think a
variety
really
of
good
different
thing
maps
just-
that fits well with all these different game modes. I mean, look at Halo 2, you had your big team maps. Halo 3, you had your big team maps. You had maps that worked well for CTF, for Oddball, for territories. Like, you had those maps that fit those kind of groups of certain roles. And I don't think 343's really ever had those maps really play into all the different roles that people are going to play. Like, look at all the LAN parties, all the different types. Like, you had the LAN parties that were competitive. You had the LAN parties that were the big team, 4-hour games on coagulation type things. It's like, that's what people really love and remember from Halo is like, you're not constricted to these 15-minute matches. Like, you can be if that's what you want to play, but at the same time, there's these other options to just have this.
I want to be in a 15-minute match where it doesn't feel like 15 minutes. I want it to fly by because it's fun.
I think a lot of the general player, not the Halo player, but the general gamer player wants to be rewarded for their time. And so that's going to be like their XP, their battle pass. Like, look, if I'm going to play a 30-minute match, I want to know that when I get out of this 30-minute match, I'm not going to be penalized because I didn't play the arena mode where I could have gotten 3 matches in that time. I think that's also a key factor, is keep the hook going in whatever mode you're playing. Your reward.
Well, you have a subset.
I mean, it's not as simple as winning and losing anymore for gamers.
Right.
It's
but you have
my
maps
time.
and game modes that work well for matchmaking, but you can also utilize those same maps with different game modes that can lend itself to kind of that customs or that LAN experience that is almost non-existent outside of Forge these days. So that's all I'm saying.
No, I'm just a fan of the idea of just stepping away from the idea of, oh, they're designing this for casual play, they're designing this for competitive play. Just design it to be fun first for people. If it has a fun gameplay loop, if there's the maps and game types are really enjoyable, it's on top of that idea of the player should feel rewarded after, because not only did it fly by because they had fun, now when they leave the game, their time that they put into that game is also appreciated by the game itself. They get a cool reward from it. They get a cool emblem, something out of it. And every aspect of the experience at that point was enjoyable for them.
They became a brigadier.
Exactly.
Whatever, you know?
It was always so
like
cool just to
XP
see like a rank
so
up.
cool.
Yep.
Yeah. The definitely the something to
people
show
also want to
for.
see, like, a couple of people mentioned Forge as well. I don't know if we'll see Forge this time around.
Yeah, Forge for you.
I don't think Forge is going to be shown till
Year 5, year 6, year 3. You want to make bets? When do you think Forge is going to be shown? I don't know.
Basically, what I found in Halo 4, Halo 5 is we are looking at the time where that 10 seconds of fun was thrown off for something they were trying to create and be 343. But now we have 10 seconds of fun back, so is that good? Is that bad? That's been my biggest concern in multiplayer to date, is if it's 10 seconds of fun, what is our 10 seconds of fun? Is it Halo 2 or is it Halo 3? Because those were the multiplayer games back in the day, and that's really all it is. It's not, we're on the premise of we want to be Fortnite, we want to be Warzone. Halo has to stay Halo to the core and use ideas from other games to keep itself in a loop and keep itself up to par, because people are going to look at the top trending games and you got to look at what's this and what's that. Granted, you got people out there like Tom, the legendary 117, who just plays Halo because he loves it. But you have those people who want to do the popular grinds and keep their Twitch partner or this. And Halo has never had that foothold in those, I say, the last probably 8 years to be that competitive game with everything out there. And I saw in the chat, I think it was Ari Kaboo, saying Halo's always been 2 to 3 years behind. And it really has. And we can't have that anymore. And that's been my biggest multiplayer complaint. And that's why I personally enjoy MCC. And I'm always hitting MCC on Fragging Fridays. So
I think for the most part, though, I kind of agree with everyone. Halo needs to kind of hit this out of the park. It needs to land on some strong points to really put itself back on the map of being a game that people can really sink their teeth into and their time into. Everyone knows the Halo title. Everyone's going to at least play it for a bit. But if Halo really wants to keep that retention, it's got to put a lot of strong points out, I think, for this presentation. Or if not at least for this presentation, at least at launch.
Yes, Spectre for life.
All Halo Infinite
Hey,
needs is the Halo
Jonah
2
and the Covenant fork truck.
all it needs.
Oh my
I want
god.
to see that back.
Yeah,
It'd be
man.
fun to see back.
We need the Covenant forklift.
Oh, the Shadow? The Covenant forklift?
As the saying goes, were it so easy.
Where it's so easy.
Last time we saw Spectre was in Halo Escalation, the terrible comic series. Haven't
True.
seen it since.
It needs to
One
be
of
back.
the
shame.
replies we got back from Twitter was someone wants to see a boat hog. Get some aquatic Someone get some aquatic
A
vehicles
boat
in here.
hog.
Why
Just,
not?
just
Boats.
bring the Halo Reach dinghy. Just make it drivable.
Yeah, which shouldn't technically hold a weight of a Spartan, but whatever.
Just
Whatever.
get the
Spartans
Evan route
can't
out.
swim either, so why are you questioning that?
There is that.
It's future rubber. It's super
They
buoyant.
just walk
rubber.
across the bottom. Oh, wait a minute. They drowned. Oh,
I think that covers most of the topics that people kind of brought up in responses. Some people want to see the roadmap for Halo Insider flagging, release date.
I'm a big fan of roadmaps as of late. A lot of different gaming companies have
I
been.
think it would
doing
help
those
for the
really
10-year
well.
plan too if they kind of lay out a little bit. I think someone mentioned this earlier. I don't know if it was you, Jonah, or someone else, but having a roadmap that kind of lays out what that 10-year plan is going to look like. Yeah,
Making it tangible.
kind of giving us an understanding of, okay, this is what we plan to do. And I think I know, like with what Haas was saying, for them to say 10 years kind of out of the gate might be a little premature, but it seems like Halo 3 has really tried to give as much transparency to the behind the scenes that they can with their process. So,
which is a huge step up than
Mhm.
what we were getting Halo 4 and early Halo 5 too. The
It has.
communication has been stellar. I commend every single day the team behind MCC because I know it's a small team, but their communication skills and how often they communicate to the player base right now is fantastic. And seeing something like that translate into Halo Infinite would only pay dividends to what the community would want to participate in and continue playing with the game.
exactly. Yep. We've got two more little audio bits I'm going to go ahead and play. Next one that we have is from Hayden, who just rated the channel not too long ago. So, Hayden, if you're still here, you get to hear your voice on the podcast. So, here we go.
Get ready to vomit.
What's up, guys? It's Hayden G230. What I'm looking forward to in the Halo presentation during the Xbox Showcase is something new. What's really caught my eye is the rumored BTB 2.0, but in general, I'm looking forward to something new. Something that separates Infinite from the other games. Whether that be new game modes, new vehicles, new weapons, something new. Something not just a clone of an already existing game.
I think that makes sense. Thank you, Hayden.
Yeah, that's
And
fair.
343 has introduced new things into all their games, so we'll likely see something new.
Where's the
Oh my
flamethrower
gosh.
vehicle? I want to see what this. I want to see what
A
they're talking
flamethrower
about.
Vehicle.
Is it the bison?
Flamethrower Warthog.
is it the
Wasn't there a
bison?
flamethrower
Zombies
hog?
game mode.
Are they just throwing a
Wasn't there a
flamethrower on the
flamethrower hog
bison?
concepted at some point for one of the games?
I mean, the closest we've gotten to that was the Needler hog because it's technically the same concept. It's projectiles that stick
there's a
to the player.
flamethrower hog in Halo Wars 2.
I almost think there was one that was prototyped or concepted for Halo CE.
It was the flame. Yeah, the flame hogs from Halo Wars 2 were pretty cool.
I feel like there was one for Halo CE too, but
That I don't know.
I want to see a Colossus.
Yeah,
a lot of the Halo Wars 2 stuff would be really cool to see in Infinite.
I've
would
been
make
trying to
sense,
remember. Is what was the name of the ship from Halo
Spirit of
Wars
Fire.
2? It's like
Spirit of
something
Fire?
of fire. Spirit of Fire.
Spirit of Fire.
I'm just trying to think of like if I know it's a reach out there, but I think so. I point out there's a possibility that could become a part of Halo Infinite. But someone
the
could totally
10-year
correct me
cycle-
if I'm wrong on that.
The
Oh, I've
10-year
seen that
lifespan,
going
they could
around.
totally bring that in. And I think at one point they mentioned that the slipspace engine could be used for things other than just first-person shooters. So if they were to do a Halo Wars 3 or some other genre of game.
Is Yapflip going to get his own single player campaign
Well,
DLC?
they also kind of said that Halo Wars 3 wasn't going to happen.
I
They
cry
came out
every
with that
day.
post where they're like, yeah, there's no future.
They didn't have plans for Halo Wars 2
so
for
might
a
as well
while.
It
throw
wasn't a
them to Halo
post,
Infinite.
first of all. It was a dagger that they just came swinging with.
Dang.
No one was really asking, but
Eventually, there'll be.
Exactly.
I would feel confident in saying that eventually there will probably be a Halo Wars 3. Obviously, nothing on the table right now, but
on an infinite
Yeah.
time scale, I think it's possible.
and I mean, I'm pretty sure they've mentioned that the Slipspace engine could do things other than just first-person shooter stuff.
I'd be concerned if it couldn't, with how powerful they make it sound.
It can do Stubbs the
Say,
zombie too.
a lot of engines
I mean,
can run
Duquesne
different
was
kinds of
slated to be on
gameplay.
here, and if he was here, I know he'd be slating for a racing game in the Slipspace engine.
Surgeon Sim, but as an engineer.
Ooh.
It's just Forza. What was it? Forza
Warhog.
Horizon 4,
Yep.
where you get the
Yep.
drive a Warthog. Yeah, but now it's an Infinite. We'll just do that.
I mean, thinking of even on like side concepts, I know probably some of you have seen it too because they put out some teaser stuff for it today. That game, that Branching Sickness, that flood-based horror game that a team is working on.
I missed it.
That's also another cool concept if they ever thought about it, diving into like the horror genre with the Slipspace engine or doing like different games like that.
They totally could. Is that a fan project?
Confal
Oh
says
my
Speed
gosh.
Halo the game.
Speed
Beat
Halo. the
Halo
game? Oh
in
my
less than 30
gosh.
minutes. Go.
I mean, I'd play it, but the game.
Not just the map, a game.
I'm excited to see what vehicles are going to be like in Infinite,
Yeah.
especially since they said you can like shoot off wheels
I'm so
and stuff
excited
like that.
for that.
Like that will be a really interesting and cool thing.
Can
to
I make a
have play
Banshee
out.
spin out? That's what I want to know. If I can make somebody completely lose control of a Banshee and kamikaze their own team, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah. That'd be nuts. Last audio clip that we have here is from Confal, one of our other longtime Podtacular community members. So let's see what Confal has to say.
Hey Podtacular, this is Confal. So what I hope 343 shows at E3 is everything. But if they don't do that, I hope they show at least multiplayer, show a hint of what Forge would look like, maybe a touch of campaign, and then I hope they bring something out of E3, something like bringing everybody to a website where they could show a video or even audio files like Hunt the Truth and really kind of release something constantly to keep us excited for the game. Later, guys.
Bring on the advertisement campaign.
Bring on the
Yes.
the ARGs.
That was something that I was really hoping they would do for.
I love bees.
Yeah.
Oh, you beat
That
me
was
to
something
it.
I was really hoping they would do for Infinite, but with the whole COVID stuff.
Well, they are kind
they?
of doing something like that right now with the Halo Waypoint posts. Every post, other than I think one of them, has had hidden audio logs or like photos and like hot links on it. So like it was like a letter would be a hot link, and you'd click it, and it would actually have like a conversation.
I thought there was
between
only for like
Halsey
one or
and
two
Chief.
of them.
That would be. in
There's
the
only
game.
been 5.
The only one that didn't have something like that was the last one, which was the audio team.
Okay. But that's not like a full ARG
Funny
like
enough.
Hunt the Truth or I Love Bees or the Iris campaign.
But they're still doing like a side thing that people can like get excited
campaign.
about it, sort of thing. Like there's a little like hidden advertising and like little tidbits people are.
Yeah,
able to
I mean,
hunt
I
down,
wouldn't
like,
necessarily
before.
consider that an advertising. That
I
I
want
mean,
full scale RAG.
I'm looking at the
ARG,
what's the
though.
advertising campaign level scope of things doing. Like obviously little tidbits there. That's gonna be useful for like the hardcore fans that are paying attention to the blog every day. But what's the real world integrated equivalent where is people actively going out and pursuing things? And
I want to see that Monday Night Football ad. I want to see stuff like that.
I'm telling you, we got to get those GameStop era commercials back. That is some gold right there. Doritos.
Oh, I remember
Spartan
the-
4.
Well, Starry Night was during halftime of Monday Night Football back in the day.
I was gonna say that was the
Mhm.
only time I actually ever watched a football game was just for that trailer
Like,
drop for
it's
3.
those kind of marketing that I think we need to see.
I had a VHS player ready with a blank tape to record the
It's
trailer.
nice to see when advertising doesn't take the thing it's advertising seriously. Like, I love that goofy
The
side
Battlefield
that people can
2042.
take with directing an advertisement, because that's what makes people remember it. It's completely out there, but it also draws them to the product in a completely unexpected way. Like, nobody was going to expect
I
to
love what they
remember
did for Halo
4
Wars
because of
2.
Mountain Dew. That's the only reason I remember Halo 4 at the time.
Yeah.
Actually,
ODST
speaking of VHS tapes, what we're really missing is a good Halo Infinite leak, because the best part of Halo 4's unintentional marking was that someone went to a barn with a
the Reach
VHS
stuff.
tape
Yep.
and like a CRT screen, and it was the Halo 4 barn leak, and it was amazing. And now, especially because where are you going to find a CRT and a VHS and get it onto that VHS? I want it so badly. Like, if you're going to leak anything, you have to, like, I don't know, put it on an old PSP or something. Just find some random way of doing it.
I got one right here for
that's
you.
part of the fun.
We can do
see?
this.
Oh my god.
Someone needs to get
We
him
have
that
the technology.
video, and then just, if you got a DV camcorder hiding somewhere, just film it on the PSP. You got to have layers.
Speaking of leaks, there was the Halo TV series that's got a few images out there now.
Oh, yes.
Play a Halo Infinite on my Tesla.
I mean, that'd be pretty cool.
That's the leak.
It'd be pretty cool if you actually could do that. Have a Cybertruck cross
With
Warthog
xCloud.
promotion type of thing. It's like, get Halo Infinite.
My TI-83
Get, like,
calculator
an
can
Xbox,
play Halo Infinite.
Oh man.
Series X, like, integrated into the truck, includes Halo Infinite on it with MCC and Halo 5, like the whole Halo library.
Just want to remember, everything that we were saying on here is copyrighted to Podtacular. All funds go towards the Halo community.
So wait, is E3 virtual, or is
It's all
it gonna
virtual this
actually
year.
take place somewhere? Or are
It's
they
all
actually gonna have,
virtual,
like, a
if
stage?
I'm
It's
not
virtual.
mistaken.
I was gonna say there was a stage, just picture a warthog just rolling on stage.
But it's got to be like a crappy drawn warthog, kind of like the Mr. Chief. Everything needs to be in the style of that.
So Frankie's drawing everything, basically.
Frankie is completely re-illustrating Halo Infinite, and that is the leak.
Gotcha. That'd be funny. I think that's pretty much the community content of things. Looking through the Twitter responses, I think we kind of hit up all the different responses that we got in here. So thanks everyone who submitted a audio clip or replied to our Twitter. I think for the most part, we're really excited to hopefully see some multiplayer stuff. Maybe see what this whole BTB 2.0 thing is. Maybe see an update on campaign. I know we didn't get around to everybody, so kind of quick fire for those that I didn't get around to. Jonah, anything else we haven't covered that you're interested in seeing from the Xbox press brief that's Infinite related?
Honestly, I just kind of want to see what abilities they're bringing to the table. Equipment, I want to see what the changes they've made to what they've shown, and maybe there's some cool stuff that they didn't show us. They've been pretty quiet about equipment that you can throw out on the field. They've mentioned things here and there of like cooldowns, but just kind of seeing how that plays into the sandbox sounds really interesting, because that's really harkening back to a Halo 3 era gameplay style.
Yeah, I'm interested to see that as well. Mark, what about you?
What for?
What do you hope to see
Halo Infinite?
during the Xbox press brief? Halo Infinite related that we haven't talked about yet.
I hope this. Once again, more like what's coming in the campaign. It could just be like, hey, just like a 45-second mashup of stuff that makes
just
no
like
sense.
a random hodgepodge of
45 seconds
Yeah,
of throwing
like-
grunts.
like stuff that gets you excited. Like, oh man, I can't wait to get to see that part. It's
You know
going
what would be
on. Yeah,
funny to
grunt
see is
hunt.
like a 30-second ad
That'd be fun.
of like Craig being all like romantic, and you have like the little heart effects and all that stuff. Just like a weird random 30-second like ad type of thing.
That there maybe some Forge stuff on like how they plan to do it. Like I remember hearing an idea about those hexagonal tiles that are on the floor, something you can push up and pull down. Armor customization's a huge thing for me, but I'm biased because cosplay.
You act like that's just you in here.
I I know, but like just to say it for whichever reason, I have no reasons. Just I gotta say it to say it. What else to go for? I would be happy to hear more of what's going on with Halo, even outside of Infinite, like the Halo TV series. Maybe potentially another idea of now. This is totally shooting on the wind. Is Halo Outpost? Because I would love if it was like another announcement for an Outpost thing.
Conventions aren't real. We have no idea what
Gonna
you're
say it
talking
might-
about.
Yeah, I was gonna say if it wasn't for COVID, I'd be like any like interesting global events that would show off some more stuff or
There is-
any amount of things like that. But
There is
I'm most excited just to see more of it.
Well, usually E3 is followed up by Gamescom, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Traditionally.
Yes. And Gamescom has teased a countdown to their event.
Are they going to be?
Okay, so we
Are
already
they going
got
to be
that
in
lined
person,
up
or
for
are
you,
they
Mark.
going to be virtual?
How yeah.
Because I mean,
I would
most of
expect
Europe is
virtual.
still just coming out of lockdown, from what I know. I think they're like PAX West is
They've been going in and out.
possibly going to be in person this year.
I really wouldn't plan on anything being in person.
That's what I've heard.
Till next year.
If it's in person, I might actually
Being
make an
here
appearance.
live in Washington, PAX is not happening.
Oh. I'm glad I got to go to Emerald City that one time because
Yeah, I'm not planning on any
that was
conventions, I
still
think,
pretty
until
fun.
next year.
No, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, we got a cool event that we're going out to at the end of this month for playing Halo Ground Command and Halo Fleet Battles with a bunch of guys who have kept the game alive, but
Got
that's
it.
about it.
I think my first event might be whatever Halo Worlds is going to end up being. That might be my first event. HCS Worlds,
Halo
whatever,
World?
wherever that ends up being.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, the World Champions.
Wherever that ends up being.
Okay.
Fuchs, to round it out. How about you?
I mean, like everyone was saying, I think in terms of campaign, it would be great if we got something like the. I think it was E3 2007 was when we got the campaign trailer for Halo 3. 2-minute thing. Rockin' music. Throw some dissociated stuff for us to argue and fight about.
You was going to pick out
obviously.
something.
Obviously, you gotta wait. You can see this, and yeah, I mean that's the fun.
Those 4 pixels.
Yeah, you gotta like blow it out, saturate it, enhance, zoom, enhance.
I want
Whatever,
somebody to
find out.
enhance and then just find something about your car's extended warranty.
It's on the underside of the Warthog.
Yeah, get rid of the Puma. Put the whole car extended
Your car-
warranty speech on the wheels.
Aaron,
Those
how about
4K
that
Your
for
car's extended warranty is about to expire.
for wonky marketing? It's a car warranty.
It's all a
commercial, but
ploy to
it's
get
not.
your
Oh my
insurance
gosh.
information.
That's the secret side.
Halo
mission of
Infinite,
Halo
a Ponzi scheme.
20 years later, there's going to be an investigative history of all of the different little tidbits that were snuck into Halo Infinite. One thing I just now thought of,
I mean, other than that,
I just now
I don't
thought
think
of
it's going
that
to take that long.
it might be interesting if they talk about is kind of the native PC experience or the whole cross-play experience between console and PC. I could see them touching on that,
I
or
hate
like
their
that being
strategy
kind of
with
at
it.
least a
Collection.
talking point, either.
I think that would
multiplayer-
be in like
yeah.
the bulletins after. I don't think that'll be
Okay.
addressed during the show.
That's like me wishing.
I mean,
they
if
would
they-
address
if they
mounting
do, it'll
tools,
be
but
like-
we're never gonna get them to talk about mounting tools at least until
I feel
couple
like that would
years
be
down the road.
a bullet point slide. Like, oh, and by the way, it's coming to PC and it's going to have these features. And
That was my one
They're not
gripe
gonna
is when
talk about more
MCC
than that.
was suddenly like, hey, Halo Custom Edition is now completely supported on MCC. And it was in the patch notes. Like, that's one thing I wish we might hear. I doubt we will. Something about modding tools for PC, but that's not going to happen for probably a year or two after the game comes out.
I mean, they're still trying to just get the support for MCC and like the modding.
Shh, let's just break it. Just let us break it. We'll help you.
I know there's plenty of that people. Plenty of
well,
people
they're
out
doing
there
a good
that are
job
willing to
breaking it
help.
themselves.
None of that blowout this week, Prestige. So it has been quite an episode. It's been a long time since I think we've had 8 people on the podcast, actually in a recording session like this and not at a convention. So thank you all for being on and being a part of this. It's going to be...
I just realized.
Yeah,
Harry
he said his
disappeared.
internet was not really holding up, so he decided to drop.
He had to recharge the toilet.
Yeah.
God dang it.
Yep.
Had to go feed the squirrels.
Keep them running. So thank you all so much for being a part of this. The showcase is coming up on Sunday. I believe it's at 11 Pacific? 10 Pacific. 1 p.m. Eastern.
10.
That's 6 GMT or 5 GMT.
12.
6 British time. So make sure you're tuning into that. I'll be driving back from North Carolina. That portion of the drive, I might have my wife drive, and I'll watch the event on my phone on the way home. Yeah, so,
That'd be the safe way to do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend doing that while you're driving.
You know
The state troopers might have something to say about that.
Pit stop then, if we're not home by then.
At about 12 o'clock.
Papa loves.
We had Dust as our guest when he was like driving home.
That was
for
2 years
E3
ago.
2020
2 years
or
ago?
whatever.
3 years ago. 3 years. 2019. Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2019. Yeah, maybe. It was
Yep. I was
2 years
driving
ago.
back
Yeah.
home from the LA Convention Center, back to Naked Eli's house.
So it was fun. So we got potato microphone, and then suddenly, like, he's inside and gets internet, and
exactly
that's taste and quality vision.
So that's all fun stuff. But there's a couple other podcasts coming up from some group of folks here. So I believe before the podcast, I think the 405th, you guys said you're having some kind of post E3.
So actually, right after E3, we will be running on our Twitch. We're going to be running an open channel for about 3 hours.
After
just to talk
E3 or
about
after the press
everything
conference?
that we saw from E3.
Okay, because
Right
E3
after
goes
the
on
press
through
conference.
Thursday.
Yeah, no, we're doing it right after the press conference. We usually try to shoot for our streams around 7 p.m., 8 p.m. So that's when you can expect that up. And that's by Central Time. But yeah, we plan on doing just kind of an open channel to talk about everything, nerd about everything that we see, grab photo references, and talk everything Halo that we are showing off.
Very nice.
At the press
I don't know if we'll do ours on Sunday. I don't know what GT's schedule is. We haven't talked about plans for a post E3 podcast yet. Last year, I think we did one either the day after or the Tuesday after or something like that. So we still have to figure out what our post E3 podcast plan is going to look like. So stay tuned for that. But so is that on your Twitch, Jonah, for the 405th stuff, or is that on Discord?
Yep, so that's going to be on 405th Halo at Twitch.
Okay.
And we also have it up on our
Very
schedule
nice.
on there as well.
We've also got Fuchs. I'm sure you're going to have your own post E3 podcast for Forward Unto Dawn as well. So any news there you want to share? You're still muted.
No, we might be recording some. Yeah, we might be recording after at some point, and then we'll get it out early in the week. We do not do our live streaming stuff, so people just have to wait for the goodness.
Fair
And
enough.
Salty language. We'll see. We'll see how much Danny likes it or not.
Yes.
We'll find out.
My only goal is to beat Hidden Xperia to getting content out. That's always my goal.
Almost no
tough
one
goal.
can beat that man. He crunches that stuff.
I know. He breathes it as soon as
It's
it
not
comes
going to
out.
be 2 hours before his video's up.
I don't think it's going to be 20
Yeah,
minutes.
he has to at
He's
least render
insane.
the
I don't
video.
know how he does it.
Anyways,
Like I said, it's going to be about 20 minutes.
going to be recording live dialogue and just export.
It wouldn't surprise
We'll see what
me.
happens. So I guess Jonah and Mark, you want to share your 405th stuff, resources, socials, all that kind of stuff for everyone listening in case they want to check out.
Well, I think I've talked enough, so I'm actually going to let Mark do that because I keep coughing.
Oh man.
On the spot.
Because there's always the 4fifth.com/forums for anyone looking to get into their own costuming. Yeah, as for my own personal one, just find me on Twitter for @MightyMarkProps. It gets updated sometimes.
And you can find me.
I'm not sure what more to add.
Yeah, you can find me at NobleDeath16 on Instagram. We also run our own separate props page, the Wardrobe Armory, and we also are heavily affiliated with the 405th Midwest, as I lead our region now. And If you're ever interested in joining the 405th, it is 13 or older to join. You can make an account for free, and you can find out what region you fall under. You can make some friends, join the Discord, join in for game nights. We're very welcoming to have brand new members, and we're always happy to teach everybody cool tricks and ways to not burn themselves and be safe with using chemicals.
As I added blood to a project
Take all the
podcast.
fun.
PPE, my guys. PPE gang.
Yeah, that's important. Fuchs, for the Dawn, you've been on here before, but in case people don't know, where can people find you?
We're on those things. forwarduntodawn.com. Articles, podcasts, random stuff. Got some things in the pipe. YouTube. YouTube/forwarduntodawn, and then Twitter @forwarddawn, because some jerk took Forward Unto Dawn and has tweeted once in 5 years, and we can't get that name. What's up with that?
Not to mention that
All I'm hearing is everybody in Twitch stream go mass report.
we do not condone. Anyways,
We do not condone those actions at Podtacular.
Disavows.
But what
all
you do on
knowledge
your own
of-
times is your own business.
let's see, Chris, you've been making kind of a little bit of a resurgence back on YouTube and some
Hello.
other places as well.
Yeah, just going back and doing old glitches and tricks in Halo 2 and 3 mainly. It's been a lot of fun
Very nice.
since it came out on PC.
And where can people find you for those that may have forgotten where to find you?
YouTube and my name,
Very
CMNeir
nice.
at YouTube.
And Haas, been a long time, brother.
Yeah, right now you can just find me on Twitter,
Spewing the facts.
but you keep sharing opinions and ready to argue.
My kind of guy.
I have my beliefs and I'm ready to argue. Especially when it comes to Halo. But keep your eyes on
Just
my
as
You're always
Zach.
welcome back if you want.
keep your eyes on my I may visit
All right.
a little bit more frequently. But keep your eyes on my Twitter. I might have some things coming down the line for some
Very
more
nice.
ways to find me. So
All right, that's going to be it for us, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Abbreviated spiel. You can find us on all the podcast services. To boot, you can find us on the live stream Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. for our podcast. We have our Fraggin' Friday, hosted by GT on Fridays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And we've also got Achieving Halo, which is currently on hiatus while our bathrooms are being remodeled. That will probably be coming back in the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that. If you want to support the podcast, you can do so by subscribing to us on Twitch, becoming a patron. Shout out to Pins Halo, Prestige, and Confal for being patrons over there, or you can donate to us through PayPal if you choose to do so that way. If you can't support monetarily, then just feel free to share us on social media, hop into our Discord, engage with the community, and we hope to see you on our next podcast, our next game night, in the Discord, wherever you want to come and be a part of the community. Thank you all again so much. Jonah, Mark, Haas, Fuchs, CMNeir, and MHCosplay had to dip out because of his internet for all being on the podcast. Really appreciate it. Sunday is going to be a big day. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Always happy to come back if you ever need it.
Certainly keep the door open for you guys.
Same.
For those in the stream, thank you for tuning in. We had quite a few gifted stuff from Pins and Prestige. Thank you guys for all the love and support that you have. Be civil out there on Sunday. Obviously, everyone's not going to be happy with everything that's shown off, but be civil, be supportive. Let's show 343 that we want them to succeed. And as always, keep on fragging them trucks.